In today's video, I will be talking about Kundalini Awakening and self-regulation. And what is the purpose of Kundalini is, you must have heard people saying Kundalini Awakening is all about spiritual development, it is about enlightenment. That is quite true, because the purpose of Kundalini is to bring you towards your wholeness, to bring you towards who you really are, and you are a soul in this human body, a spirit in this human body. So its purpose is to bring you and connect you with your higher purpose, with your divine nature, with who you truly are, and it's trying to purify you of self-doubts, of fears, of anxieties, of phobias, so that you can jump back into your originality, into your authentic core. And self-regulation is a part of that sequence of this intelligent process. Because how can you tap into your higher functions of the self, that is your prefrontal cortex functions of spirituality or connecting with those 4 or 5 dimensions, unless you have not really learned to self-regulate your emotions? So in the initial stages of Kundalini Awakening, it's trying to heal you, and it is trying to seal your energy system into a more purified forms of energy, so that you can connect with your spiritual nature afterwards. You can access the deeper stages of heightened awareness and consciousness once you have learned to clear your old patterns that have not been serving you well, in favor of the patterns where you can access your higher functions of mindfulness, of compassion, of care, kindness, and you can expand your heart. It is very simple. I really don't want to go into those aspects where we make this process so complicated. It is a very simple process, a prolonged journey. When understood in its appropriate way, in a scientific way, it will make the management of this process, this energy working through you, easier, fun, with curiosity, engagement, and responsibility as well. So basically, there are 2 things that you need to understand: that this energy is trying to bring you into alignment of your nervous system that is inside your brain, and as well as bringing you in your heart, and it's trying to divert your attention that your heart also has a nervous system of its own, and the nervous system in your brain is affected by the one in your heart, because we are the feeling beings, we are the emotional beings. And since we did not learn as children how to regulate ourselves in the ideal ways, it is trying to bring us back into that natural state. You must have seen children, like when they arrive into this world, they are the center of attention. They consider themselves to be the center of attention. They believe in themselves. They have no fears. They have no anxieties. They are so full of spontaneity. The flow of energy is already regulated in them. But what happens? The adults around that divine child begins to project on him or her his ideas of ways of living. His fears begins to project on him his cultural conditioning, or mom is trying to tell the child what is she afraid of, and she doesn't want child to go to certain places or don't do certain things that she's afraid of. And most of these fears are not really valid, because we are operating from our survival mind all the time, survival instinct of what might go wrong. So our brain is in a constant state of hypervigilance, trying to anticipate the situations which might not be true or which might not happen, but we want to be on the safer side. So what happens? We're projecting all that information, we're bombarding the child's theta state brain and consciousness with those ideas which he's going to pick up and keep in his or her electromagnetic field as his core beliefs. So it's very important to understand for would-be parents or who are planning to be parents that please try to work on yourself first. because parenting is not an easy it's not an easy process. You really need to prepare yourself a bit in trying to understand how you take control of your emotions, and are you going to bring your child in the circumference of those emotions unknowingly. So it's very important to go and put yourself in the shoes of an aware parent if you want your child to have a secure, healthy, functioning brain and consciousness, so that he could access or she could access the higher brain functions with ease and be of service to this world and create something that could be useful, instead of wasting his or her energy in trying to manage those negative emotions and trying to find solutions for them. So basically, Kundalini energy is trying to purify your system, and it is trying to tell you that, see, you're feeling the discomfort in this area. You're feeling your reality is toppling down because earlier you were operating from your defense mechanisms. But now I really want you to understand your truth. I want you to understand your authentic self, and I want you to take responsibility for that. Like, don't lose the inner. It's basically bringing you into the innocence. It's bringing you back into your inner connection with your inner child that is innocent, that has all the powers that could help him or her to believe that there is a magic around him or her, and she or he has a capacity to manifest what he or she wants. So it's basically trying to purify that inner child and bringing it into its originality by washing off all those projections you might have picked up on the way through your parents, through your cultural conditioning as you were growing up. So basically, it's good news. You must be grateful if you are having even the difficult experiences of undergoing Kundalini awakening, because when our system is not ready, the energy when it rises is quite intense, and our system, our cells, nerves, muscles, our brain, our nervous system, our heart, there's so many closures up and down, and there's a constant flow of information rolling in here. And when there are obstructions, it creates a lot of disturbances, emotional, mental. So we, people who are undergoing the intense Kundalini activation, I understand, I can empathize, they must be having very, very difficult times, because connecting with the pain bodies and clearing them is the most difficult task on this planet. But that is the ultimate, to get back into your authentic core, in connection with the spontaneity in you, in connection with the spontaneous flow of energy, in order to clean this vessel of body and mind, so that the spirit could flow through it. So in order for the spirit to flow through your vessel, it's trying to purify you so that it could flow through you, and it could make you come in connection with your spiritual self and all those bliss and peace and higher functions of your brain that might come into activation through that cleansing, so that you could serve yourself well with love as well as others around you. You could get in touch with your creative self with more clarity. Decision making would be more intuitive, heart would be more opened, nervous system would be fully functioning. So when you have all these functions, your body will go back, slide back into health as well. So all the health problems associated with Kundalini, the people have a lot of diseases might come out in the process, maybe emotional or physiological, because basically it is trying to declutter you. So I would say that try to maintain your poise, try to maintain your composure, try to understand and create that connection with the power working through you, because your willpower and ego is learning the greatest lessons of this lifetime. That ego, especially the unhealthy ego that is coming from our limited beliefs, core beliefs that we have picked up through our cultures and families, which are the projections of the fear-based thinking, they do not work at all in this process, because the purpose of the process is to let you know, hey, you see, You are much more than this. You are not a limited being. And since our body, our system, our minds are so used to believing and perceiving in a particular way, that is the most difficult thing to acknowledge, that our reality is falling away, it is falling apart, it's dying off, and we stand in the no man's land for a little while in this process, because it is trying to recreate you. It is trying to make you come into your being with a new swing, which is much better, much flexible, much adaptable, and there's more fun energy in that as well. So Kundalini is all about, it's an intelligent energy. There is a sequencing in the way it rises through you, because its ultimate purpose is to bring you in your divine self, to bring you in connection with your purified, clear, crystal clear self, through which it could flow with spontaneity, creativity, and let you enjoy the sensory things on this planet while connecting with your spirituality at the same time. So its purpose is to cleanse you, to purify you, and all the problems associated with Kundalini are coming where you need to take responsibility and spend more time meditating or creating or understanding or learning the processes that could help you to cleanse your emotional field, your mental field, so that once the energy begins to shift in these fields, you are more free to access the higher reservoirs, the more spiritual reservoirs of this energy. So there is a sequence, a pattern. It's important to understand when the process begins to integrate itself within you, you will begin to feel it. Your system will feel light as air. The pains will vanish and you'll have more clarity. The heart will open and you will be connected with the meaning and purpose of everyday life in your own unique individual way. So if you are undergoing any kind of Kundalini problems, just try to seek help in whatever ways possible. If you feel that would work for you, or if you think meditation and reading or some research would help you to gain information and listening to people who have undergone such experiences, then do that. But stay in a state of gratitude during this state, and this really helps when you know that the process is trying to help you. The process has a purpose, a higher purpose for your well-being, for your good, and whatever your body is undergoing is a cleansing process. It's a decluttering process. It is trying to raise your frequency, it's trying to raise your vibration, it is trying to open your heart space 360 degree so that you could move around with ease, curiosity, engagement in this world without feeling a sense of fear, anxiety, and connect with your creativity and higher functions of your brain so that you are able to serve this world. So, self-regulation in the initial stages of Kundalini symptoms is a very important term to pay attention to. Pay attention to your emotions, pay attention to your core beliefs, pay attention to the way you grew up, pay attention to your family history, pay attention to your ancestral history, because we are carrying all that in our biology. Our cells, muscles, nerves carry that information. We are just electromagnetic field, and this energy, if you are having experiences of 4-dimension and 5-dimension, don't take it as like something very big, because the purpose of energy here is to make you fall in love and in belief, into that core belief that your ego is limited and there is a power that is much bigger than you that is operating through this universe and through you. So if you're able to connect with that power and surrender to that power, your journey may slip forward with much more comfort than you might not have been experiencing without this surrender. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video on Kundalini Awakening and self-regulation. Self-regulation is essential. Self-regulation is a sequence of how we grow, how we evolve. And the purpose of Kundalini is to evolve you. The purpose of Kundalini is to bring you into your wholesomeness into your being, into your happiness, into your peace, into your sense of individuation. So if we did not complete these stages as children, and I can vouch for that, that ideal parenting is like living in the land of perfection, and it's not present around the world. So we have to, each one of us has to work on our system, our emotional systems, our energetic systems, so that this energy could do its work with ease. That's all for today. I'll see you in my next video. If you like this video and you know somebody who needs to listen to this information, please do share it with as many people as possible, and subscribe to my channel in future for more such videos.